Okay, we ready?
Yeah.
Perfect.
You good? All right, I will call the meeting to order. It's agenda date, time, and location were properly announced. We will start off with the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting, August 25th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve? So that was Katie and Sabrina. Okay, any questions, corrections? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And then we have payment of the bills. Is there a motion to approve for the month of August, the amount of $607,182.97?
So move.
Chuck, is there a second? I'll second. Brady, any questions or discussion?
I know you had some questions. Did you get everything you needed, Reedy? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Patty.
Anyone else? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The cash summary.
Not much going on there, just kind of the same stuff from every month. I didn't have any questions and nothing to really highlight this month unless somebody has any questions.
I just wondered the mental health grant, what that will apply for?
Yes, so the mental health grant is going towards we have it's a curriculum that is based on the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards that also have to do with character education and all kinds of stuff with honesty. Want to talk a little bit about the Unitas curriculum?
Absolutely. So it's really great based on those career, college, and life ready skills. And it incorporates character traits that we are hoping to see in our young people. This month, and I was going to talk about it in the strong culture, but this month we're focusing on honesty and reflection. So the littles are superheroes and they go on adventures and they learn about honesty in different countries and things like that. And then our olders are explorers, so they are going and exploring what it means to have reflection. And they have a connection with an explorer in Cedarburg. So we're just picking that up.
And we can talk more later, but the cool thing about this is it's being taught like a regular core class. It's not just a counselor doing it 20 minutes a week. It's 20 minutes a day on all these core values for that students. So we're seeing some really great results.
What's the age group?
It'll
K5.
Any other questions on the cash summary? Right, donations. Nice list here.
Well, nice list. Donors choose. Again, thank you to all our staff that take the time to put that out there. They consistently get cool things for their classroom. And also thank you to the Tram family. The knitting club is really taking off. Who would have thought, millennials wanting to knit, but they do. And we have the materials for it. So just really kind of a fun little way to get kids. Boys and girls. Yeah, boys and girls. So it is cool. I think it's.
And thank you for that. All that money.
Okay.
Very nice. Comments? I didn't see any on the sheet. Does anybody put your mind out there? All right. Referendum.
Arbitrage. How many people have heard that word before? So we had, and this was something, Amy's not here, but we did our arbitrage assessment and we're starting to make our payments. So what arbitrage is we, unlike a lot of referendums, and according to everyone we talked to, we got very lucky. All said and done, we made $2.2 million on our investments for the referendum. So that as soon as we got it, we put it into 100% safe, good places. We worked with PMA. They were fantastic. It's a co-op that is around the state that districts use to put referendum money into safe places until you need them, right? Cause we start off with $29.9 million, but we don't just give that to the contractors and say, hey, we trust you're gonna do a nice job. We have them pay, through the last 18 months. So collectively, we made, $2.2 million, but the federal government doesn't like it to be, to allowing government entities to borrow money and then gain interest on it without some guardrails, right? So the guardrails for us is, as you're doing it, you have to spend, it all within a certain amount, and if you don't, you owe some of that interest back to the federal government. So you will be happy to know that all said and done, we owe $580,000, what's that? $530,000 back to the federal government. So they got a nice payday out of our hard work from there, but we still got to keep over 1.6 million. So arbitrage is that number. We had, we had one payment that was done for about 98,000, that we sent in, and we have one other payment that's actually due in 3 years, for, was it 400 and something, that, we're not gonna pay right away, cause there's no penalties, and we're gonna put that into one of our liquid, where's,
Something in LPI.
yeah, and, we'll pay that in 3 years, and then gain even interest off of that as we're going to pay for it. So,
And we won't have to pay penalty on that interest, will we?
no, then we're good. So yeah, so I mean,
Mitigating our loss.
that'll make a couple $100,000. That'll make about $100,000 over that 3 year period. So, depending on where we are. So, just a nice way to make sure that our tax dollars are being pushed even farther and go from there. So, that's all said and done. We are in a good place, and, yeah, no, Amy had to sign it, and the way it works is we had calculated, it was calculated to pay this much within this amount of window. So we asked Amy to sign it, and she's like, I don't understand all this. Is there a way we can put it out there so everybody knows what's happening? And that's what we
It
did.
was actually a letter in the text. That's full on.
So yes, so that is arbitrage. That's a new word I didn't know before.
So early in what you were explaining, you said something about like if we spent the interest within a certain amount of time, then we didn't have to pay the government?
So yeah, so I believe it was if we were to spend all the money that we borrowed, so that if we were able to spend the entire $2.9 million, I think it was 2 years, right? That, I think it was, you had to spend it all within 2 years. But the problem is, it took us over a year just to plan on all the things that we're going to do and everything from there. So nobody gets done in that 2 years, the way schools do referendums. If you were to pay upfront for all of that planning and then go to a referendum, well, you could have a very sizable architecture bill, without passing. So that's just the way it is. There were some ways to do it, but actually, in the long run, I think we ended up in a good spot. So there's,
Also said that like because we hit it at a good time, we had really good interest rates.
Yeah,
So I
I
don't
get
know
that.
if other schools really run into this, you know. But we made more than others.
But it wasn't like, if we were like, oh, let's pick up this project and spend that interest on that, we didn't have the ability to do that.
No.
and it was the full 29.9 million had to be spent within the window, and I think it was 24 months, and
It wasn't
was-
just the interest. of
it wasn't just their interest, it was the whole project had to be spent, and that's not a good place to be prepaying on things before they're done, so. Yeah, no, I think we had really great counsel, we had really great people helping us. We had really great investments. If you remember when we first did this, we had one that was a few $1 million at almost 7% and that took some of our, investments. So, yeah, we did well.
Can you talk a little bit about what we did with that 1.6?
Yeah, I would say really that 1.6, it paid, to me, the two things that remember from the referendum that we pulled after the initial question was the connecting link in the high school and that road, right? And I think this board has wanted that road from the previous referendum to help with fire safety. And that connecting link we knew was really going to high school. So I would say those two projects on their own were able to be completed because of that. So in a way, this arbitrage and these interests, I keep telling people we were able to under promise and over deliver on this referendum. That's a pretty nice addition, and I feel like we haven't always had those kind of gifts as a community, so it's nice to have that for this one.
Any other questions? All right, board committee reports, we did not have any committee meetings. And so that takes us to building reports.
All right, so starting out with strong classrooms, great start to the school year. So we're 3 weeks in, and I think this has probably been one of our smoothest starts that we've had in a long time. And the kids are super excited about all the new spaces in the building, and it just looks great. And the carpeting, whew, it's a game changer on the noise. So if you're here during the day. Department grade level PLC collaboration meetings are underway. So all of our departments for the last 2 weeks have jumped right in, working on assessment procedures and curriculum planning.
Awesome. And our next part is going to be Jamie Utek, and she's going to be talking about our fall diagnostic for elementary.
And just as a reminder, a lot of this was some of the things that we've done in regards to the Act 20 legislation around reading. And Jamie has done a fantastic job with Becky in just getting teachers prepared around this, and thought, hey, you're doing all the work, why don't you come in and share with the board. Thanks for coming.
Sure. All right, so this is just an image from NextPath, our newest program that we've been able to purchase this year that helps us really dig into student data, not just academic, but also behavioral, and it's been a game changer. And I'll talk about that in a second because it has saved us so much time this year on paperwork so that we can spend more time with our students. This is a nice graphic just kind of showing you through Act 20 there are cutoffs on where students need to have a reading plan or not. In kindergarten, it's based off a letter name and letter sound. First grade, it's based off of word reading, nonsense word reading, and oral reading fluency, which is how many words can they read per minute. And then second and third grade are both based off of the oral reading fluency measure. And then what happens is that based off of those scores, then we have to write reading plans to support students with skills that they need to work on. So these are the current numbers of students that are on reading plans. So we are about, in most grade levels, around 20% of our students, and we already have them all linked up with some sort of intervention based off of the assessment data that we have collected. So not only did we collect data from Ames Web, we also did some diagnostic data to see what truly is going on here and what do we need to do to support our students. And so that started this week, actually. We are starting with our groups today. So it was a busy morning for us, but it was great. So that's what the data looks like this year. If you want to, like I was saying, we now have NextPath, which has been a game changer. All of our data is now in NextPath. It pulls our Ames Web, our forward exam data, our ACT data, everything, behavior data. And then we are able to create profiles, not just of individual students, but also of groups of students. So we have a profile for just third grade, second grade, first grade, and we're able to, in our meetings, make it much more efficient because we're able to just pull up our first grade data wall and say, what do we need to do, or how are things going, things like that. Yeah.
You asked a question other people probably asked.
Yeah.
Right? So Ames Web is the assessment in reading and math that we give every student, is it K through 8, every unit through 8th grade, right? K through 8. So that, once we give that test is uploaded into NextPath, and then NextPath is a way that we can look at how everybody's doing across the board. So that graph that we've seen in that previous, we know where every one of our students are. That's the aggregate of everyone, but the great thing about NextPath is we can look at an entire class or entire grade level, a class, or we can break it down into individuals and send it out to parents so they can see where their child is on these assessments. So, and here's what these assessments are.
Also to add on to that, it also talks to Infinite Campus, so all of our grades also go in there. So we can see, are we being rigorous enough with our grading practices in the classroom to match the rigor of what we're being assessed on Forward or Ames Web. This is just a screenshot of what's really nice, because last year we were handwriting all these, not handwriting literally, just, in a document, but we were individually writing reports for parents to send home. That's part of Act 20. Now this year with NextPath, we're able to do, with a couple clicks of a button, it sends the letters home to parents, and parents can log into a secure portal and read all of the assessment information, parent reports, all of that right in NextPath, which has been very appreciated by parents. I feel like they've really enjoyed being able to see it quicker than parent-teacher conferences. We've gotten emails that they really, with questions, and then they've appreciated being able to get the answers right away on how we're going to address how their children are doing in their academics. So this is just an example of a report that is pulled from from NextPath, for the personal reading plans. And then if you go to the next slide, it also pulls all of their data individually. So it's really savvy that way, that it just pulls all the students' data and puts it into that report for us and then sends it home to the parents. Actually, for our diagnostic assessments, which we administered, for Ames Web, anytime a parent logs in, it'll create that report right on the fly for the parents to then see the live data from the students.
Remember a few months ago, we were talking about the NextPath and how that helps our parents really get to see a snapshot of where their child is and what we need to do to help them. It really helps us partner with our families on making our kids better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
The percentile, that's nationwide?
national, yep. So we're comparing our students at the national level percentiles. So that's nice too, because we can kind of see how we're comparing to others. So what are we doing to support our students? One thing in all of our school visits that we've done, we did 2 over the course of the last couple of years in the elementary. We've done some in the middle school too. And what we're learning is that schools are really performing well. They have a good resources to use with students, but they also have a really good system to support students as well, using data to drive instruction. And so that's really what we're trying to set up here in Random Lake too. So this year in elementary, we're doing 45-minute intervention blocks, 20 minutes and 20 minutes, and we're sharing responsibility across 2 grade levels. So kindergarten and first grade have the same time, second and third have the same time, and fourth and fifth have the same time. So we can kind of flex students in and out of groups. And then we also have our special education teachers delivering intervention during that time. Me, Julie, who is with me, and then we even have some additional help in there as well with different specialists. But we're really trying to support students in all areas, not just literacy, but math, social emotional supports during that time so that we can support students the best way that we can. And they're all based off of data. So last week we went into NextPath in our meetings. We looked at who needs to get the reading support. And then this week we're going to talk about the math support and who's going to be delivering that intervention.
Just a quick question.
Yeah,
If you could go back to the last.
sure.
So, just for my edification, you've got like the measures of oral reading fluency. Is there some software that helps you do that, or is that manually being
It's
determined with the student? How does that work?
so Oral reading fluency is a measure that has to be done with a proctor. So the student will read 2 passages and then the proctor kind of uses the computer to, to score it. So it'll, time the student for a minute and then we're kind of marking if they're making any errors and then it moves on to the next passage. So it calculates all the scores for us, but we just, we're sitting next to the student and doing the assessment with them. So, yeah. Yeah, so it's great. So it's nice because we can hear the student reading and we know that it's legit, that way, but the computer does the scoring for us because, yeah.
If you would have seen the first week and a half, every one of our SGI, there's small rooms, there's people broke out, so it's time consuming, but it's also very important to get our staff in front of students, have them reading, see where they're at, and then having that longitudinal data, how do you do in fall, how do you do in winter, how do you do in spring, how do you do in first grade, second grade, third grade, those type of students falling through the cracks can't happen because we're doing this so often at university level.
So it's less subjective than it is, you've got this software that's doing analyzing the students reading.
Yep. Yeah. And oftentimes too, with some of these, it doesn't tell you like what they scored right away. So like it just kind of, you have to be, you have to follow through with the program and whatnot. Yeah, sure.
It also shows, the completion level or the amount of errors as well. So not only is it calculating like how far they got, it shows that there was any discrepancy. Accuracy.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing our groupings based off of data, and then we do in the elementary school weekly progress monitoring. So we're making sure that our students are making progress. And this is something that was kind of, started with Act 20, but we want to carry it all the way up through 5th grade because we just feel like we want to keep it going with our students. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Go back.
Sure.
The share between 2 grade levels, I want to make sure we take a moment on that, because that's no small feat, right? If you go back to the way education was, let's say even 10 years ago, it was a teacher in a classroom, close the door, I'll take care of my kids, right? That, because of the work we've done around standard, because of the work that we've done around scope and sequence, because 1st grade knows what's needed, 2nd grade knows what's needed, 3rd grade knows what's needed, we can put grade bands together of kindergarten and first. Now, instead of having your class of 20 and 1 teacher, we have 2 classes, so 40 students, 2 grades, 80 students, but those 80 students now can be supported by 4 classroom teachers, plus Jamie, plus, we can have our school site, we can have Julie in there. So now you start taking these 80 students and you're flooding it with adults, and you can break it down into groups of 3, 5, 10, and you can have, because we know just because you're in 1st grade doesn't mean you read at the 1st grade level. Some of them read at a 3rd grade level, some of them read at a kindergarten level. We can put them in the places that are where they're ready to learn, and that is going to allow us to really extend students that are already reading that, but support. Because you can see in the graph, we have a couple grades that we are really going to be intensive and really deliberate on, but this change of schedule, this is part of the reason the middle school, high school, and elementary are all on the same schedule, so we can do this. It's a nice bullet, but there's a lot of work that goes into that to be able to do that. And it's just, feels really good, I think, for all of us to be able to say, this is really good.
I love the fact that you're able to, honestly, break it into ability groups, but you're able to challenge the students that have mastered certain skill sets for grade level based on what the test scores are, and you're able to help specific students that might be different areas. Areas where it's needed without being stigmatized by, potentially by being compared to those who are performing.
It was so neat in some of our conversations with the teachers. We'd be talking about specific students like, oh, this student needs to work on comprehension skills, specifically this. And then another teacher would be like, well, I have a group for that. So then we would put that student in that group, or it didn't really matter what grade level or what teacher they had or, anything about it was all about data, and that was just like something so neat that we were able to do because of our shared grade level team. So it's
I
so
was just
far.
gonna give a shout out to, you were talking about our students that needed more of a challenge.
Yeah.
We work with Andrea Peterson as well, and even all the way down to fourth grade, because our fourth graders are coming in very advanced, which is exciting. So we're pushing in some higher level learning, even all the way down to the fourth graders.
Yeah, I think she's going to be supporting in our 2-3 for sure, with some book clubs and things like that, because we don't want to miss anybody. We want to make sure that we get as many groups going as we can, because we know we want to push the ones that need to be pushed, and we want to support the ones that need to be supported. So we're going to try our best to get those groups, you know, matched with the right people. So that's kind of what we're working on. Any additional questions? Thank you. Thank you so much.
The next one is our partnership with Copernicus. And our partner, Kaylin from Copernicus, prepared a little video for you for today. So you have that next.
One second.
Yep. This is part of Susie Gano's PGP as well. She's been an innovator in having movement in the classroom, so we're just really excited that we could share this with the school. I think it's really making an impact, which is very exciting.
And Copernicus are the ones that have the pedal desks that we have in the elementary. You'll see them in some other places. As I walk around, it is amazing how many students are already using it and getting wheels out as they're reading and as they're doing that. And it's all part of that larger picture of that structured adventure of how do we get more movement in our day, allowing students to do that. So Copernicus has been wonderful supporter of what we're trying to do. I believe we're one of the first ones that they work with that is just all school kind of initiative. So we asked her to create a video to share with you, and then we will be putting this out on Facebook as part of kind of our larger initiative as well. Yeah.
Technology hates it today.
Should we go on to the next one and then come out maybe? Okay.
All right, so our academic and career pathway classes have started at the middle school. Pam meets with all of the eighth graders to go through ACP planning, and that's where sort of that start is as they're going to go into high school with their 4-year plan. So those are underway. And our scope meetings with Mr. Frias, student counselor parent engagement meetings, have started. So he meets with all of the seniors in September. October will be the juniors, November the sophomores, and then freshmen December into January. So that way he can have all of those plans out prior to course selection in January.
Should we try again?
Okay.
My name is Kayla Buckman, I'm the president of the Copernicus Educational Project. We are excited to be a part of a movement for movement in the classroom, and I'm happy today to share with you some of the work behind why we.
I just mute your speaker on the.
That's what I was trying to do.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla Buckman, and I'm the president of the Copernicus Educational Project. We are excited to be a part of a movement for movement in the classroom, and I'm happy today to share with you some of the research behind why movement is a powerful tool for our students. How many of us, when we're stressed, anxious, or tired, have felt the impulse to go for a walk? I bet many of us have. What we're doing in that moment is using movement as a tool to help us self-regulate. So what is self-regulation? I'll show a little video that explains what self-regulation skills are.
Successful people have strong self-regulation skills. They use them every day. The skills help them consciously direct, sustain, and shift their attention when necessary. They help them monitor and manage their thoughts, behavior, and emotions in this complicated world of ours. 3 of the self-regulation skills, known as executive function skills, are cognitive. These are used to monitor and manage attention, thoughts, and behavior. A 4th self-regulation skill is the ability to monitor and manage emotions. These skills are not inborn, but they are teachable. And we depend on them every day, especially when the going gets rough. Just like adults, when students are upset or angry, it's hard for them to use their executive function skills because their strong emotions take over. This can also make it difficult for them to listen, remember rules, and stay focused on learning. So, learning to monitor and manage emotions allows students to recognize their strong feelings and use strategies to calm down. Then, they can use their executive function skills again. And research shows students with strong self-regulation skills have higher academic achievement and are less likely to act in impulsive or aggressive ways, or withdraw when overwhelmed. They're also more likely to get along well with others and have strong social skills. Students with poor self-regulation skills can have emotional and behavioral problems and academic trouble and are more likely to be expelled from school, starting as early as preschool. When students learn and practice self-regulation skills, they can build academic achievement, social competence, and positive growth throughout their lives.
Movement is just one tool that you can use to self-regulate, and having a help desk for the classroom allows you to do this easily in the classroom space. In these images here, you can see the difference between a brain at rest and a brain after walking. When you exercise, your body sends oxygen to your brain, which fires up different parts of it, which is what you're seeing here in these images. This helps you concentrate, improves your memory, and can make you feel a little bit like a superhero. The benefits of movement for students is really powerful. Numerous studies have shown the positive benefits of movement in classrooms. It helps students learn. Active kids demonstrate greater attention, faster processing speeds, and they generally perform better in tests. Their anxiety levels are reduced, and attendance is improved. Here are 2 examples of school districts that have been using bikes and the positive impact they've had on their school. The Durham District School Board did a pilot project that put 36 stationary bikes in 26 of its schools. Due to the enthusiastic response and the positive benefits they saw, they then took applications from schools to put another 20 bikes in their classrooms. And the second example is from Ward Elementary in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. This elementary school participated in a Read to Ride program, wherein students had access to bikes in the classroom to read their favorite books. At the end of the year, they analyzed the testing data and were excited with what they saw. Students who spent the most time in the program had an 83% proficiency in reading. Those who spent the least amount of time in the program had failing scores of only 41% proficiency. These results encouraged them to launch the program to another 30 schools across the country. These are just 2 examples of a growing trend to incorporate movement into classroom spaces. We believe that there are 3 reasons why pedal desks are resonating right now. Teachers report to us an increasing amount of behavioral issues in schools, and letting kids regulate through movement has been proven to help mitigate those issues. Plus, there are multiple studies that show that increased physical activity leads to academic performance. Schools and parents are also starting to question more and more the benefits and harms of technology. Movement boosts mental health and wellness, which can counter the impacts of technology overload. We also know that kids are far too sedentary, and we're more aware of the issues that can cause later in life. A bike in the class is a fun, simple way to get even just a small amount of activity every day and help build healthy habits. Research shows that students with better self-regulation skills have higher academic achievement, are more likely to get along with others, and are better able to build and maintain strong relationships. Movement helps build resilient kids, ready for the future. We're excited to support this movement and are here to help you on your journey. Thank you so much for your time today. I can't wait to hear how it goes with the bikes in your school. Good luck.
Questions on that?
You may have said, what are the grades on it?
There's two in every classroom from kindergarten through fifth grade. And then we have them peppered throughout the school in other areas.
We have one in the office. There's one in the psychologist room, one in the guidance classroom. Where else? There's two in 4K.
Who determines who gets to use it? Obviously, it's not one for everybody. Is it by time or by?
Yeah. So initially, they also gave us like a sign-up sheet for the bikes, and then on the flip side of the sign-up sheet, it talks about how are you feeling right now, and it like the zones of regulation, and then you flip it over and how are you feeling after, which is exciting. So for the most part, people sign up to use it during the day. Susie, if she would tell you that you have some students that seem to navigate to that area more frequently, but I never hear them like fighting over it. There's always enough time and space for everyone to have them, which is exciting. Yeah.
So this question is not necessarily about the flags behind this, but the study that they did that shows that students that get exercise or with self-regulated. How often do we have recess? How much time do we spend with recess, especially?
Absolutely. So we have 2 recesses for 4K, one in the morning and then one around lunchtime. They're about 20 minutes each, so that's 40 minutes there. And I would say that's pretty typical for across elementary. They always have at least 2 recesses, and sometimes they'll put in more. We now have structured adventure this year, which is another time that they're getting outside, and that's a half an hour. So the 40 plus another 30, so almost 50 minutes a day. Oh yeah, and even include FIAD. So they have that twice a week for an hour. Great question.
All right, so moving on to strong culture. We had our kickoff assemblies. It was usually the first day or the first week for the middle and high school and elementary, and they went off and were very successful and really positive.
And then as we kicked off this school year, it's important to reteach like how to walk in the halls and how to do lunch and what's appropriate behavior on the bus. So we did a lot of reteaching of our RAM tools as we started our year. And then the next bullet point is what we discussed before with Unitas. It's our character ed program. And like I mentioned before, we're focusing on honesty and respect.
The middle school kicked off their monthly themes, focusing on the big 3, treating others right, making smart decisions and maximizing your potential. So they're doing lessons each week just focused on those big three for this month. The Pull Together Community Service Project being led by the middle school, bringing in the pull tabs for the Ronald McDonald House. And then high school class officers have been selected, and they've been busy doing homecoming planning and activities. Our homecoming activities, Let's Go Glow Crazy. Neon is well underway. So next week will be the big week. That's homecoming week. We'll have our spirit days, all of our different activities. We have the pep rally and the parade set for Friday. And I know Terry's already been in contact with the village to make sure we got our permit, and we're all set there. So very exciting. And with the football game, we were also bringing in a fireworks show for this year. So they'll do the beginning of the game, national anthem, and then anytime we get a touchdown, do some fireworks. And then at the end of the game, they're going to do about a 10 to 15 minute show after the game. So very exciting to bring in the fireworks. I know the senior class was very excited when I let them know that we were going to do that this year for them. Strong community connection. So we have high school community service activities going on as well. We've got different kids going out, doing parking lot cleanup, road cleanup, and things like that as a part of homecoming. We have high school grades. They all teamed with a local business for the homecoming banner decorating. So Globe, the Pizzeria, Random Lake Entertainment Center, and I think, what's that? Burmish or the hardware store? Yep. And then, last, to you.
Yeah. And then the Fall Fest is right after the Color Run on the 27th. Big kudos to the 4Kids PTO. They are helping to run the Fall Fest this year, and I know they're always looking for volunteers. So if anybody wants to jump in and let them know you're available, they would love to have your support.
Next, we have a request for out-of-state travel. Whitney would like to take FFA to the national conference.
Well, it's actually just gonna be good.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it coincides with the musical. So unfortunately, the three kids that were gonna join are, because of the musical. It happens every once in a while, this happens to be here. But Whitney would like to go, so that way she can continue supporting, Hava, who is, she graduated last year and she is part of the, state organization.
Okay. And so she still needs approval for that? Is that accurate or no?
No, I think it's,
She's going.
go Whitney.
So who's gonna chaperone Whitney? That's
What's that?
who's gonna chaperone Whitney?
Is she gonna bring us gummy bears?
I know.
I don't know, bringing gummy bears now.
No cost to the school,
Yeah. What's that?
no cost to the school district.
I think her trip would, yeah, her FFA would be, yeah.
All right. So that takes us to contract with CISA 7 for the 25-26 school year. Do you want to say anything before we get into it?
I think you could do a motion and we can talk about it.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Chuck, is there a second?
Second.
Brian? All right, have at it.
I know there were some questions about this, Rini, on what the CISA 7 contract, right? Was that, or was that? That was you, okay, yes.
Oh, I don't know, maybe also.
Yeah, no, I think, yes. So questions that you had.
I don't like that. I don't know what any of it means. Like, so
Okay.
what's the SLP network?
So the way CISA 7 works, it's kind of every district is required to pay in X amount according to what their enrollment is. So just by living in the CISA 7 region, we have to pay in a certain amount, but all these other ones are services that we pay above and beyond. So auditory services, we have an individual who is deaf. We actually have 2 students, I believe, that have auditory service needs, and deaf, hard of hearing. So we pay for those bits of those professionals to help us, so we don't have to have a full-time auditory person on, staff. Same
What
thing
does a
with vision.
unit mean? Like, if it says 24, is that like 2 kids each getting 12 hours over the whole year, or is that?
I would say that 24 units, that's probably about how many hours they're working over that school year. So it kind of shows you how minimal they are here, but a lot of them is, it's more about consultation. So we have people here that are servicing the students, but they attend IEP meetings, they do things like that. So I would say a unit is about an hour, it's probably 45 minutes with 15 minutes planning on it, right? Like that.
We do charges for planning too,
Okay.
so it's not always in person, if they plan for.
So that would fall under the units that they've got on here.
Yes,
correct?
I can.
Yeah, and then SLP Network, they also, have meetings, like Lee is one of the chair people for the technology. And we don't have to pay for that since he's the brain trust of that group. SLP is, speech and language. Especially in small districts, a lot of times you don't have others to collaborate with, so, this is a great place to have people go. It's the same place I go for our superintendent PAC meetings. You can see the learning services. That,
Learning service.
so that is, that $12,000, that is for them to give us 10 professional development days that they come here, do things. So we've used them for things like restorative justice, for our PLCs, our PBIS. They have kind of the core, individuals that have worked in other schools, and then we bring them here and do the professional development through them. So, and it's, we have to pay X amount for just being in CISA. The 10 days is actually the lowest number, the lowest package of the learning services that encompasses what we have to pay along with getting 10 days. So, and we've done a good job of using the 10 days, especially the last few years with that. So, other service networks, you can see our principals, curriculum leaders, DAC, and, things like that.
There's a couple actually, networks that aren't listed on there. It's the Digital Learning Network and the Library Network that we got for free this year and next year due to me basically serving as the tech, director, head of the tech director network. So we were able to negotiate that, so we got a couple for free, so.
So that's the total bill for CISA 7.
And then, so the 11% overhead is above and beyond the, like, other services, fixed costs, and all this stuff that we have to pay. Right, so we have to do the learning services member package, and then the admin stuff, I'm assuming. This says fixed costs, other services,
Where is that?
way at the bottom, right there. So it's matching around, like, I don't know what,
Services, CISA administration, matching revenues,
yeah.
overhead cost, yeah,
The overhead cost is a consistent 11% all the way through the whole bill.
yeah.
So, like, I mean, what's that, keeping the lights on at the little building?
Yeah, they just went through a different pricing model. Do you know, I didn't, yeah, I think that's the keeping the lights on type thing.
But then like, every member school has to pay that, like, how many are in our?
I think that's in that percent.
40, yeah, districts, I think there's 40 some districts in CISA. So,
And we're probably small, but if we were an average district, that means it's like $250,000 are getting an overhead cost, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, those are the scale. But whatever, you guys know better if the
Yeah.
services that we're getting are worth the cost, it just feels like there's a lot of little, like, nickel and diming.
you know, for $24,000, that's not even one full-time, member here. So I feel like for that cost, we are getting really good services in just how we can call them. They're able to be there. They always have somebody that can help us out pretty quickly. So, for a district our size, 24,000 to me seems like a deal with what we can do. And just the insurance and the coverage that we have by being able to have somebody, especially in that auditory area and that visual, Cause we wouldn't be able to find anybody, and that could put us at all kinds of risks and such, so.
I think I've asked this before, but we're not mandated or required to be part of CISA as a public school, are we? But it's just been advantageous cost-wise.
As I look at it, I think the CISA administration, that $5,600, that's the only thing you're required to pay. Everything else, are things that we chose to. So
Okay.
we could get our bill all the way down to $5,600, well, it'd be $6,200 with the overhead cost. But all those other things we're electing to do. And,
Okay.
you know, like the $14,000 for 10 days, that's actually pretty inexpensive when you're looking at professional development these days. There's some people that to get them here for one day, they want 10 grand, you know, so a lot of these things, I think everyone's trying to pay their bills, pay their people well, and go from there, and it's the world we live in, right? So the more we can collaborate, the more we can share, our resources, the better it is. But yeah, would I like it to go down? Yeah, but nothing seems to go down.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Special Education Policy and Procedure Handbook. Is there a motion to approve?
And our handbook is really just the Wisconsin DPI model, as a reminder.
So there wasn't an enclosure for that or anything? No. Okay, it's just their statewide.
Yeah, we just adopted Wisconsin's.
I'll make a motion to accept it as is.
Chuck, is there a second? Katie, any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have notification of new support, salaried staff, public relations and library media assistant, Lacey Deppish, is that how we're saying it? And Cassidy
Harold.
Okay. Any questions, comments?
Lacey picking up like Sydney and Fox's stuff.
It's a little bit of both. So Lacey comes to us with all kinds of really great social media expertise. So does it in another part of her life and is able to do it for us part-time. And then Cassidy working in the library here, we're asking her to capture pictures, do some of those things. So those two are kind of working together with our social media, while also keeping this area vibrant and clean and doing our, you know, grade level readings and all that other good stuff. So yeah, we're still working out a little bit of the bugs, but I feel like we have a really, really good plan moving forward here. So we got some of our first week metrics. Lacey's really good with the numbers, and here's where we touched, and here's the band we're doing. And just in the first couple of weeks, there's some really cool stuff happening. So keep an eye out.
Next, we have co-curricular, middle school girls basketball, Christina Friedmeier, another notification, and she's been around for a while.
Yes, thank you. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
The ESCA consolidated plan and continued participation in the title programs. Is there a motion to continue? Katie, is there a second?
Second.
Brian, questions or discussion?
Happy we got the federal funds. There for a while, we weren't always so sure, so yes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have just the information on the planned fundraisers for 25-26. Does anybody have any questions or?
I just had a question on what it means when it just says, you look at, I think it's NSF isn't it?
NHS,
NHS,
Easter, yeah.
National.
No, I know what NHS says. I just wonder what they mean when their fundraising category just says Easter. Like,
Oh,
are they?
they do candy and like little basket kind of things for kids.
So like you would do Valentine's, you'd make Easter baskets.
Yeah.
That's, okay, that would have, like, that would have not been questioned, I was just like, well, I don't know, like, you're planning Easter for the community.
What's the grape picking? That's a new one, and I am not entirely sure. Yeah, because I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, that one's new. I'm not sure on the grape picking.
Well, it sounded fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all in.
I don't even know where the closest vineyard is.
I don't know, they can come and pick my raspberries if you want.
Okay, informational items.
Just remember, October is, we're putting all of our meetings together, right? So we'll have our annual meeting, our budget meeting, and then, just plan for a little bit longer. Are we planning on doing an auditorium, or do we do, I'm trying to think, what, do we post it for the auditorium?
I think the last couple of years, even before the referendum, I think we tried it in the library.
And
Tried it here.
I
And
think,
I think what we did is we tried it knowing that if we got a large crowd, we would pivot.
are we good with that for, I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
Do we have a start time on that? Like, is it still,
Our annual meeting times are the same, and I believe we put our board meeting for it this time at our regular board meeting, no, was it
5:15 is what I've got.
5:30, I'll double check. So that's great, but we did make it a little bit earlier.
okay. Okay, great.
Or did we change the?
I think
I'll
it's
send you this stuff.
5:15.
Maybe we changed the others.
Yeah,
think
just,
we
if you
need the
could
annual-
send that out to us just as a reminder, that would be great.
We do the budget meeting, then we do the annual, and then we do the regular meeting.
Board meeting at that, yeah. Cause then we can improve what we did before.
Yes, we done.
It's a little bit longer, but it's better. For a while there, we're doing 2 Mondays in a row. This allows us to wrap everything together and gives us some time in case there's some objections from what we present, so. Yeah, no. October 8th, we have our open house. The ribbon cutting will be at 6 o'clock. I had all the artwork. Myron has been helping us with the artwork. All of it was done this morning, and then they had the wrong time. They had 6:30 instead of 6, so that will be going out tomorrow, but love to have you here. We're gonna start at 4:30, let people just wander around, check things out, do that. And then we'll have a little ceremony in the foyer, starting at 6, and then a ribbon cutting and go from there. So, should be fun. I thought October 8th, that's plenty of time to get everything we needed done for the referendum. There'll be some things that still aren't done, but we will have when we say substantial completion, everything's gonna look great. So, we're just working on, as much as possible there.
Is it self-guided tours, or are there gonna be tours, like is NHS giving tours or anything like that?
We haven't planned any tours. We were gonna do, like a scavenger hunt, cause we have different areas that we could do, so looking at doing some things there. We could have different individuals in those different areas and kind of share those as people get their scavenger hunt, so.
Just an idea, I don't know what your plan is, but is there maybe some kind of a map that people could be handy?
Yeah.
Just so, emphasize
Yeah,
areas. of
with the
improvement.
different areas for the scavenger, that's where a scavenger hunt will do some sort of thing where everyone that gets a stamp from each one of those areas,
Oh,
that can be put into a drawing, and then we can kind of go from there.
that's what
so.
scavenger hunt is, I guess, they just
Yeah,
put
no,
two and two
no,
together.
no, that's fine, but yeah. Well, that way, they're gonna see, they're gonna see the boardroom, they're gonna see the rock climbing wall, they're gonna see the courtyard, they're gonna see those things. So, we did a little bit of that for our staff in service. And, cause we have elementary staff that don't get up to the high school that don't get down. And it was really, a lot of staff really appreciated it, so we're just gonna take that and, put it together and have our staff experience some spaces as well, so. Should be fun.
I don't know if this is the exact area to ask this, but is our punch list being
Yes,
completed
it's,
pretty well?
it's getting through. Unfortunately, we have things like today where, as punch lists are coming through, all of a sudden a window falls out of the door, and, yes, so,
The clocks came in today.
what's that?
The clocks came in.
The
today.
clocks came
They're
in.
getting mounted tomorrow.
Okay, so it seems like we get a couple things off the list, and then, luckily, we have, two individuals that are here permanent or full-time yet, that are just going around hanging up whiteboards, have been the operation here since the beginning of the school, just all kinds of stuff, so we had the staff do a survey, and I think we had, I don't know, close to 100 submissions of things that needed to be done in each one of the classrooms that were broken down by painting, furniture, all these other things, so Eric is our, person, he has all those things, so yeah, so it's going through, yeah, I think, you know, Mike and I had, talked to the individuals from, Cedar Grove after theirs, and they're like, you know, just expect it's a full year afterwards of just all the little bits and pieces that need to be done, and it's gonna be, yeah, I'm getting things done.
Last question. Last time I drove by, I noticed our new signs were not activated yet. Are they close to being online?
They are close, they will be up, what's that?
Talking with Mike Lefever on Wednesday when he returns. I hope to have something out there, but
So, yeah, so we wanna
I
get
guess
it.
For
we had-
homecoming, obviously.
yeah, it'll be up before the open house. I wanna have it up, actually, I wanna have it up next week. So we have the open house up on. We just, Mike and I haven't been able to connect, so I can know how to connect with him. So he'll be back on Wednesday. It's on my list of harassment. So
Thank you.
Hippopotamus sandwich, one bite at a time.
There you
Yeah,
go.
That's what we're doing, just chewing and chomping and moving forward, so.
Are the teachers being pretty like detailed and picky, right? Like they shouldn't feel like they shouldn't report a paint chip or like all right, good. I'm gonna keep it up.
I'll kind of equate it like this, and this is meant in good humor, right? Like anytime you do a remodel, and you always have, you know, like my wife is for me, like this isn't done yet, this isn't done yet. These are some things that need to be moved around. Right now, it feels like we have about 100 spouses that are making sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to. So I feel like we're good. Not everybody's getting every whiteboard they want. I may have to find a way to get about 100 cork boards because I wouldn't believe how many emails I got today on cork boards that are needed. So yes, you know, in the end, this referendum did a whole lot, but it's not doing everything. So we are still working through, and we still gotta, you know, manage our funds and go from there. So no, but it's good. It's fantastic. And then board retreats, I'll throw something out. I'm kind of thinking, I really like that, first or second week of December worked well the last few years, if that works for everybody, and, we can get that on our calendar. I'll send an invite this Friday. Let me know how it works, and we'll go from there. We'll keep it a Monday. We'll have to work around Chuck's, board meetings and all that other good stuff. Okay? You bet. I appreciate it. Good. And, yeah, that's all I know.
All right, we have a closed session on the agenda. Board will go into closed session as permitted under Wisconsin State Statutes, Chapter 19, Section 1985, 1F, to review a report on cybersecurity, and will remain in closed session to discuss school safety. While still in closed session, the board will hear a report on seclusion and restraint instances. We will not be taking any action after that. So thank you very much for coming out tonight.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes? Is there a motion to go into closed session? Rini, was that you? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Chuck? This requires a roll call vote. Rini?
Yes.
Chuck?
Yes.
I vote yes. Katie? Brian?
Yes.
All right, we are in closed session.